They cut down a tree to fell it this way, and one over there to fell it that way, so that someone couldn't drive, again, this was clear at the time, couldn't drive into there. And again, my pileated woodpeckers, oh, it's so neat to watch them. I hope you know what they are. Well, they felled the trees, and the following day, 24 hours, less than 24 hours later, then the crew came in and put these. The people in charge of our environment cut down the trees, 2 trees, so that they didn't have to wait an entire 24 hours to stop people from coming into this parking lot. Who knows what kind of criminal activity might be going on in a wild, terrible area like this, high crime site like this. Now we will march back in this area. This is the woods behind the beach that the DNR signed off so that the turtles could nest up there, but also the real reason, if we were to speak truth, was so that they could hide around in camouflage and watch naked people, use binoculars and spotting scopes from the other side of the river, and try and catch people doing things bad. And they'd hang around in this turtle nesting area. After the end of the summer last year, when it was legal to walk through here, I walked through here. This was well trod. I mean, they obviously had been back here a good deal of the time. Now in the months of growth where people aren't back here, the agents haven't started doing their thing yet. Doesn't show like it did back then. Tax dollars were used so that they could come down here and try and stop all the horrible crime that's taking place. What I was talking about, the litter on this trail, now it's overgrown. I don't know if we're going to stumble across it or not, but and look at the difference of this trail from the one we were on. This is the one that has been blocked off from people using it, and had been the DNR agents. Again, this is too early in the year. They haven't started their thing out here, hiding in the bushes. But along here there were some cans, not that they put them out, but some cans that had been discarded or drifted up here during high water or something or other. And there was area right on the trail where there was a couple of broken bottles along in here and then on another side of this area. And the agents couldn't pick those up. I've never seen a person wearing a badge bend over in a wildlife area and pick up a piece of litter, even when they were standing. I've seen a law enforcement officer in a wildlife area step over a glass bottle. I witnessed that. I later went over and picked up that bottle. But they could step over the glass bottle and couldn't pick it up. Those folks so concerned about our environment. Can you imagine what fun it is for DNR agents? They like hunting, fishing, that kind of stuff. At least I think they do. I hope they do, that they're in that business. But the idea of being able to get paid to come out here, hide in camouflage and stuff, and spy on citizens, you know, stop them from doing anything. Don't imagine people out there, if they knew they were being spied on, how comfortable would they be? Do you think they'd keep coming out here? I don't care if it's a clothing optional beach or a clothing beach. Would people be comfortable knowing that there are people spying on them? Oh, because they wear badges, that makes it okay? I don't think so. If I were to hide back in here, though, it's illegal. But if I were to hide back in here and use binoculars and stare at naked people, people would consider that kind of perverted, wouldn't you think? I would think so. But because these people are protecting us from ourselves, then it's okay. Do you feel safer as a citizen? Oh, I wish I'd been in here with the camera in the fall to display how heavily trafficked this area was. I mean, this was a well-trod path with agents. See how many turtles are in here? I hope I'm not destroying all their nests. And that is why the signage was installed. Cut down the brush so that the turtles could cross to a woods. I've never seen a turtle in a woods in my lifetime. And apparently nest in trees because the DNR agents were clomping on through here. Again, I don't think they do the littering, but there was a lot of that along here. Maybe once the area opened, maybe people, real citizens, walked through and picked up the litter. I don't know. One time it was a miserable weather day and I was homeless at the time and I lived out of my vehicle, so I was in the parking lot. This is where people used to be able to park. I'll finish that story and then talk about this. I was parked in the parking lot, and I could personally account for 12 agents, and that day, it being a lousy day on the beach, there were, I believe, 4 patrons. So 3 agents for each patron to make sure everyone was safe here. What was I going to say about... Oh, people used to park here. You know, all this brush wasn't here at the time. And they'd come down and sit and look at the river, And winter, there was the rare day that I'd be down here on a winter day, rare day that at least one person didn't drive in, and many, many more on average. But during the season where, you know, people have coolers and the mosquitoes are just horrendous along the road and such, blankets, chairs, all the things you take to a beach, they'd carry them down to the beach. But we can't do that anymore. We have to carry them a mile. Now look at this signage. I don't know where that deep drop-off is. I have absolutely no idea. But, you know, we shouldn't be out there. I bumped the on-off switch. This is the number I've called to report myself for being up. I don't know why the thing's turning off. When I first got in this area, it's only the brown and white signs that used to be up, not all this. Well, I guess I'm going to have to shut down the camera. It keeps turning off, but if I can capture this one. This is the one I used to like best. River Ethics. Have a good time. Now the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, otherwise known as, instead of DNR, Department of Natural Resources, DNR is Do Not Recreate. Pick up after yourself. Don't bother others. Those are ethics we could live our lives by. But look at all the signs. Signs, signs, everywhere are signs. Too bad I can't sing, 'cause I've blown your mind. Now, the only place one can legally, from the parking lot that's a mile up there, the only place someone using the beach can legally enter is that little area. Okay, then you can come down here. Then our protectors can keep their eyes on us. Make sure oh, that was all brush over there. And then the year after they lied to the board, got permission to cut it down, the following year they sprayed an herbicide all through here. And this was, I forget the date, I don't have anything in front of me, but it was June, lovely weather at the time. They put up signage, I think only down at the main parking lot. I don't think any down here to advise patrons. But I've got a picture of the signs. The signs indicate that they sprayed a pesticide and that patrons should be away from this area for a period of less than 24 hours. I talked to the person that applied it. I believe he to be the owner of the company that was contracted by the DNR to spray the herbicide. And now this is an herbicide to kill woody vegetation. I imagine this is a pretty strong herbicide. And the contractor told me and two other witnesses, my recall is that when I asked, you know, here's a guy that deals with chemicals all the time. I asked how long would he stay out of the area. My recall is that he replied he wouldn't go in there for a week. Now, I don't remember, you know, that, you know, it's a couple years ago, so I might be wrong about that now, and there'd be a tape more current where I would have said what